What's up, everyone? We're back with another episode of the Talk Nerdy With Me podcast. I'm your host, Adam.
And I'm Brittany.
Yep, we're going to be talking about Antman Quantumania today. Well, Antman the Wasp Quantumania. And yeah, we're going to start with a spoiler-free version, so of course, safe here for now. What'd you think?
What did I think? I mean, we both kind of had the same idea leaving the theater. It was good. It wasn't like the best movie ever. No, but I don't really expect that out of Ant-Man movies. Ant-Man specifically has always been kind of more of like the superhero that accidentally became a superhero that doesn't really care that no one knows that he's a superhero kind of thing. And like he's just kind of been like the comedic relief most of the time. Like with all of his movies, I felt that way. So I wasn't expecting anything insane out of this, and I got what I thought I'd get out of it. Actually, more than I got. I gave it more of like a 7. We gave it both actually more of like a 7.5, 7.5 out of 10, right?
Yeah. I've never loved the Ant-Man movies. Like they're funny, you know. Like you said, they're like supposed to be more comedy, so it's like kind of a breath of fresh air. They're not as funny as the Guardian movies though, so it's kind of like weird
or like
space.
Deadpool.
Yeah, exactly. But they're entertaining. They're just, I don't know. It's hard to compare them just because Ant-Man will never be my favorite hero. Like none of the characters I really, prefer.
He's very much like a dad. Dad humor.
Not even that. Even just like the Ant-Man character. Like even when it was Hank Pym, I always just, the growing and shrinking was just never really that fascinating for a hero to me.
Right.
And it's like, the super smarts, it's more Hank than Scott, but
Scott's
you know what I mean.
Not smart like that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this movie was fun. Like that's the best way I can describe it. I said it was a solid 7.5. I enjoyed the watch, but it wasn't my favorite. And I think we'll get into the spoiler review a little bit later. I think I do have a lot of things that could have been tweaked a little bit, but I enjoyed myself in the movie theater. Like
I feel like it gave exactly what it typically gives. Like, I honestly just think that this was good. If you like the other Ant-Man movies, I think that you would like this one.
Yeah.
Like, if you're expecting this to be, like, the new, I don't know, like, new superhero movie that's gonna, like, blow your socks off and you're gonna watch it and rewatch it all the time, I don't know, maybe not that.
Yeah, I think, especially coming off Wakanda Forever, which we both loved, the tone was just so obviously different. Well, and that's why it's a little bit harder for me to say it was just, like, a well-done movie. You know what I mean?
Well,
it didn't feel as serious, and that's not what they're going for.
It was never supposed to be serious.
It felt borderline more of like a kid's movie than it did like...
I don't know about that. But I mean, like, I can see where you're coming from. It's definitely more like setting up Scott Lang's daughter for like the Young Avengers and everything like that. I can see it from that perspective.
Yeah.
I do think the only like bummer for me for this was that it wasn't as funny as the previous two Ant-Man movies. It lacked some of the humor in it that I really enjoy. It actually, in my opinion, had way more serious tones typically than Ant-Man movies have had in the past. So that was a cool aspect, though, in some scenarios. I think that this one is going to be setting up a lot of what we're going to be seeing with this next phase, just because, like, especially introducing the new big bad and kind of like giving a backstory to how this is all going to arise and everything. It's cool in that aspect, and I don't know if Ant-Man was maybe the character I would have chosen to introduce this all with, but I didn't mind it. I like Scott Lang. I do.
I think we're probably going to be getting...
Paul Rudd.
Right. I think we're going to probably be getting into the spoiler stuff in a little bit, but I wanted to touch on like the comedy, because I think this was a really interesting type of funny, because all their jokes...
You always say that about Paul Rudd's humor.
I just don't think he's funny.
Yeah, he's funny.
He's like a not funny version of Ryan Reynolds.
Okay, I can see where you're coming from.
He's like dad joke Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. He's definitely dad joke Ryan Reynolds, because that's how I see him compared to Deadpool too. Like, Ant-Man just feels like dad joke Deadpool.
Yeah.
But I really like Paul Rudd's humor. It's just like self-deprecating and like grim.
Yeah.
But like... it's not necessarily dark humor, but like you can tell like he's kind of depressed all the time, and it's funny for him, and like I like that.
But throughout the movie, like one thing that really kind of I thought was interesting is that I thought the jokes by themselves were fine. Like I found myself laughing at all of them.
Yeah.
But it was very awkward, cringy humor throughout the whole movie. Like they were also like, and this was by choice, I'm sure, because that's how the Ant-Man humor is. But
that's
like,
how his humor is.
Yeah,
like, he's awkward.
But it wasn't just him. That's not like it wasn't.
Well,
like,
no,
it was throughout the whole movie. Like all the characters
copied and pasted his humor onto, especially like his daughter. Like they copied and pasted it onto her, and like I think naturally, everyone else has started to like kind of acquire that, or like they gave them that kind of humor in the script just to kind of complement his.
Mhm.
So yeah, I saw that coming.
But yeah, that was more of a complaint that I had, just because like, along with like the awkward cringiness, it really feels out of place a lot of the time, in my opinion.
It's the point, though. That's
No,
the
I
point.
know, but like when you think of like, and this is like, if you think of like the stakes of this movie
Yeah.
and what it means for everything else, it should have been a little bit more serious. But like you said,
But
that's
this
why
isn't
Ant-Man wasn't the
Ant-Man.
best person for
I
this
didn't.
kind
I
of.
didn't say it wasn't the best because I actually I ended up liking the way
Yeah.
that they used his story to like push everyone else, push the like agenda forward, basically. But I wouldn't have chosen him.
Yeah.
Like I would have chosen probably any other character because I don't see him that way. But I still liked it, and I love his humor. I thought even like the awkward moments, like that was the point. Like
Yeah.
it was the point to be awkward, you know.
Yeah.
Like especially like that last scene. We won't talk about it because like obviously spoilers. But like that last scene with him and his daughter, like that where they're hugging.
Yeah.
I was like cringing the entire way through. But that was the point.
You said we're not going to talk about it, and then you talk about it.
No, that they were just hugging.
Oh.
I said they hugged.
Yeah.
That's not
That's
that
a
big.
spoiler.
That is. Oh, a hug is a
kidding.
spoiler.
A hug's a spoiler. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Well, that was pretty much all I had to say about like as far as like non-spoiler stuff goes. So
Spoiler alert. A
yeah,
dad
so-
and a daughter hug.
yeah.
I know.
So-
Who would have seen that?
Right. So this is the spoiler warning. We are going to get into the.
Well, no.
actual...
Actually, I do have something to talk about before the spoiler warning.
Sure. Go ahead.
Because what do you think about the recasting for?
Oh, I think it was
Because I've seen so many like discussions on the other half where apparently a lot of fans were pretty annoyed about the fact that she got recasted.
Yeah.
What's her name again?
I don't know either of their names. Fortunately,
No. I know her name's Catherine, like the actress, the new one. But what's his daughter's name?
Oh, Cassie.
Cassie. Okay. So because I know I was really excited when I found out that Cassie Lang was being recasted, mostly because I really didn't love the casting done for Endgame.
Well, I remember when we saw it, the first thing you said was she's way too old.
She's way too old. She was supposed to be like 14 or something.
Yeah.
Like she was, I think she was maybe like, I don't know, 9 or something when we saw her last in Antman and the Wasp. This is supposed to be 5 years in the future. She was supposed to be 14. No offense to that actress. I know she did her best. She did a really good acting job, which is apparently what everyone's talking about.
Yeah.
But she looked way too old. And granted, I think she's the same age as the current girl that got picked.
She
But
definitely looked older.
But yeah, the current girl just looks way younger. She acts way younger. In my opinion, she was a way better fit. But like, how do you feel about that?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I'm pretty sure we actually like had an argument about this like after we saw Endgame.
Oh yeah,
You could just knock it over how old she was.
I
You're like,
never got over
because
it.
we really like, and we'll get into this when we go to the spoilers too. But like, just the timeline and how like Marvel's pretty good about their consistency with like explaining where everything is exactly to the T. And her being as old as she looked really did not make sense at all.
No, because she
and you
looked
were
like,
really bothered by that.
Well, because it was annoying. We left her and she looked like a toddler. Like, I mean, not a toddler, but she looked young. She looked like an elementary school kid, which is what she was. And she gets recasted to this girl that looks,
18,
no
19.
offense, but she looks older than how she like actually was. Like she had a more mature face, a longer face. She looked young womany.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how the hell does that timeline match up? I didn't like it.
Well, into the casting, I think what bothers me and what's like really unfortunate about it is that apparently the previous actress was not told.
Yeah.
And to find that out, it's just like you could just give someone a heads up, like, hey, we're gonna move in a different direction. Like that doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
I don't know if they had a reason for it or if they just didn't think they owed anything to the character. But like you would think like everyone could have seen Cassie's gonna be eventually a character. You know what I mean? For them to not have planned that a little bit further out is kind of weird. It's not very Marvel of them. But like I said, my biggest thing about it is I wish they gave her a heads up just because it's really unfortunate to find out when you see just the new person in the trailer.
Yeah.
As far as the actress goes, like I'll get more into a character in the spoiler version. But
that can't be how she found out. It was the trailer.
That's how she. Well, I don't know about the trailer, but she found out.
She found out
when
like,
everyone else found out.
Yeah. She found out when. But I was gonna say it couldn't have been the trailer because then she wouldn't have known she wasn't filming that whole time.
Right. Yeah. No. So I didn't mind.
I'm gonna open the door.
Okay. I didn't mind the new character at all, but without like spoiling too much, she's very much gonna fit in with like the rest of the Young Avengers. And
her humor is perfect. So, like it's literally Scott Lang's humor in a teenage girl form.
Yeah.
Like Apollo had a lot to say about that. No, in my opinion, she just had the perfect humor. Yeah. And granted, like the other actress, like people keep kind of harping on the whole fact that they're like, she gave us more in those 3 lines that she had in Endgame, like the previous actress, than like this one gave in the entire movie. And I wouldn't agree with that. I think that she's a great actress, like Catherine, the new girl that plays Cassie. I think that she did a really good job with it. Like she did the script as it was supposed to be done.
I don't think the script was that great though.
So oh yeah, but the script isn't
yeah, but that's always a very like fine line to tiptoe where it's like, you know, bad acting versus bad script. Like it's definitely there's times where both of them are at fault maybe, but I didn't think she was incredible by any means.
But I've liked her in like previous like movies. And,
oh,
like,
I didn't know anything else she was in.
Oh yeah, we've seen previous things with her. Oh, what's her? Wait. I'm blanking. I just looked this up too, but she's in a movie that both of us really like.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
I wish I had my phone, or else I'd look it up. But yeah, I don't. Either way, I've liked her acting in like previous things, and I think that she did a great job as Cassie. Like I really do. I think that is literally the kind of daughter that Ant-Man would make.
Yeah.
She has like the nerdy kind of like vibe to her. Like so she could be a scientist. She could be a little genius. And I think that like her humor, while maybe not to your taste, because you don't like Paul Rudd's humor. Like to be, or not Paul Rudd maybe, but Scott Lang's humor, is exactly how it was supposed to be done. So I liked her a lot, and I think that she looks the part.
Yeah, I definitely think she looks the part.
Yeah, but yeah, that was kind of it for the only non-spoilery discussion that I thought that people might want to see before we jump into the spoils.
Sounds good to me. Should we feed them before we get into the spoiler?
I'm not going to feed them. We are going to continue. We are pushing out.
All right, so this is your final warning. We're going to be spoiling everything now. You know, stuff you did see, didn't see, stuff we hope to see.
Yeah, we're getting into the nitty gritty. So if you haven't seen the movie and you care, you can exit and come back after that. Cool. You know?
All right. So goodbye
to those. Yeah, what's the first part that you wanted to talk about? So with
Quantumania, going into the quantum realm,
okay.
We know Kang is the big bad.
Yeah.
We know we've had all, like, this is probably our fourth.
They showed in the second trailer, I forgot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We didn't even talk about Kang in the first one, even though he was pretty big as a character.
Okay, we can continue it.
No, it doesn't really matter. So,
I mean, like, it's just...
It was a very general review anyway.
And the thing is Kang's name, it doesn't get said until the very end of Ant-Man. Like, we know it. Like, if you saw Loki, you know that's Kang. You're very aware of the fact that this is Kang, whether it's Kang the Conqueror or whatever else of a variant he might be. But they don't actually explicitly say Kang until the very end.
No, they do.
No.
I'm pretty sure Janet mentions his name.
Pretty sure
you were gone for that part. Yeah, you went to the bathroom.
I did go to the bathroom.
Oh, no, you went to get food. So
I got a hot dog.
Yeah, I hope it was.
Well, I did. I went to the bathroom and I got a hot dog after.
Yeah. All right, but yeah. So back to what I was saying is like even though we've had like a lot of exposure to like the multiverse at this point, with this being like into the quantum realm and finally getting exposed to Kang, my main complaint is that I still don't feel like anything makes sense. Like this left me with more questions than answers. No, because we look at everything: Loki, Spider-Man, multiverse, like Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Quantumania, none of, like, the only correlation between these two is, like, Loki a little bit. Like, I don't find any real connection between any of them.
What? There is, like, a main connection going on with all of them. Because, like, okay, the timelines.
Yeah.
When it, like, I think it's just because I've seen a few TikToks on this.
Yeah.
Of, like, specifically timing it out. Of how the timeline between, like, when Wanda, when everything goes down in WandaVision, when everything goes down in Spider-Man, when everything goes down, like, in all these different timelines, it lines up perfectly with the amount of time that Kang is talking about in Loki. Like, at the very end, when he's talking to Loki, and they're like, everything's about to change, and he's like, if we don't hurry up right now, like, everything's gonna, like, this is, I don't remember his exact wording, but he says something along those lines, and if you play the movies, like, side by side, it's the exact amount of time for all of those events to happen. So these are all events that wouldn't have happened if Loki or Sylvie had just taken the mantle from Kang and, continued on, versus now we're restarting the war. We're breaking all the timelines. There's no more universal timeline. It's breaking into millions of branches, trillions, innumerable amount of branches, whatever. Yeah. I'm not.
But I agree with Loki being technically the start, because that's what.
Yeah.
That was the inception of the multiverse.
It's not necessarily the start. It's like all of these things are happening in sync.
Kind of, but not really, because like Doctor Strange has nothing to do with Loki.
No, but it's a multiverse, so that's what all of these things have in common. It's just the fact that they're branching. They're all breaking the timeline that they're supposed to be going for.
Yeah,
Like, that's the singular, like, thing that they all have in common. Everything else, I mean, it's gonna come eventually. Like, in the beginning with the Avengers movies, we didn't know, none of them were connected, like, in our heads. When we saw Captain America, First Avenger, Iron Man, all of those movies, like, we didn't realize that there was going to be any connection.
Right, but it was, like, subtle enough to where they were building towards something.
Yeah,
like,
they're building towards something now, but it's just
now,
huge.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, the multiverse is very in your face in all these scenarios, and each time it almost just feels like a massive Easter egg. Like, it doesn't feel like we're actually building on anything. You know what I mean? Like, how do... You don't think so?
I think we're building on a lot. We're building on the breaking of a timeline. Like, that's what it keeps showing, is, like, that every single one of these characters is absolutely destroying the timeline that we were supposed to have.
Yeah.
Like, it's creating the multiverse. It's a madness, you know, like...
I guess my complaint is that there's not an explanation to anything. Like, so my point is, specifically with the quantum realm, this is one thing that I can't, like, stop getting annoyed by, is the fact that Scott was in there for what felt like 10 seconds, and he got out 5 years later during the blip, right?
Yeah.
They went in, and what seems like at the end of it, went exactly back to where they were in time.
Well, okay.
And I know, like, time is different,
Relative.
it's unpredictable.
Yeah.
For that to just... That's just, this is how it is because I said so. What I mean? There's no consistency with that.
No, because they did actually kind of touch on that in Ant-Man, actually. Because he was even saying, in the middle, he goes, I don't understand, when he's talking to... Janet. He's talking to Janet, and he's saying, like, how could you have been in this place? Like, when I went into the quantum realm, I was just floating and, like, nothingness. And she was like, yeah, that's the barrier. There's, like, a barrier between, like, the realm that they're actually in the quantum realm in this one, and the one that he was in when he, like, blipped in.
Yeah.
And they had to break through multiple layers to get past it, and it's almost like a weird time in each one. Which is why he could have experienced time in the way that it did, and she actually experienced real time passing in a real world, in a real realm.
I know, but I'm saying, well, no, it still doesn't make sense. Because, so we're saying he got to the barrier.
And he stayed there.
For what felt like 10 seconds for him.
Right.
So we are now in there.
That wasn't a real realm. That was the barrier realm.
I know, but that's still within there. And being only halfway down was stuck for 5 years. You would think if you're deeper, that would be even more time. No?
No. The way that I see it, at least, is nothingness, like doing nothing, seeing nothing, being nothing, that you're gonna lose time. Like, you're gonna lose track of time.
I know, but it's not the how long did they feel like they were down there. It was the literal, they were down there for this amount of time coming back. You know what I mean? Like, how did they just come back?
No, what I'm saying is that I think that Scott experienced time differently in that barrier realm. That the time passes differently in that barrier realm, not in the quantum realm. That's why in the quantum realm, she aged. Like, she came out after Janet, when she came back out, she was older.
Yeah.
When Scott came back out, I mean, we can't tell a big difference in 5 years in general, but, like, he seemed the exact same. You know? It was 10 seconds for him, like, literally. You know? But I think that time just passes differently in the barrier realm. From the way that they described it.
Yeah, I mean, like, because they just didn't describe it, though. Like,
but, like, they did. They said enough. I mean, okay, to be fair, there's not a lot of, like, they're not giving you answers in this.
Yeah.
Like, you're almost having to pull from, like, other knowledge to try and get the answer.
Well, because the only thing that I could, like, in my head make up, like, how they got back to exactly where they left was that because they had Kang's technology, she just went back through the tractor beam she essentially created.
Well, it was only a few days.
But that's what I mean, though. It should have been way longer than that.
No, it shouldn't have been. That's what I'm saying. The barrier realm, yes.
But there's nothing to confirm that. That's just your
No, because she was in there for years. She knew she was in there for years. When she came out, she aged years. They were in there for days. They came out, it had been a few days.
It's not making sense to me at all. Like, neither is your explanation, but I mean, hey, it's just...
I mean,
the thing is, there's nothing concrete to point to. It's just...
And they were anxious about it. Like, Scott did mention that. He's like, how much time is going by right now, you know? But, actually, to be fair, like, the way that it ended, it doesn't even tell you how much time passed by.
It doesn't. It felt like they just got back up and went on with their day. It didn't... You know what I mean? Like, for how long and how much stuff they did that we saw, you would have thought it would have been at least, like, a year or something. And, like, it's not like they're going to tell you 1 year later. So... Yeah, that's true too. But
no, but it was only days.
Yeah, that seems weird to me.
I think because isn't it when she brings up the barrier realm discussion when
it was never brought up that I remember.
It was brought up because she was talking to him about it basically.
Oh.
But the barrier realm, that was why for him time didn't pass, but in this realm it did. Like time was passing within this quantum realm, but like within the barrier realm it didn't. I'm not a scientist.
Well, no, that's why. Like I said, it's just the fact that like, nothing's really like concrete here. But that was one of my complaints. It's like it doesn't feel like there's a lot of consistency with any of this because the idea is so big. It's kind of hard to lay out any rules.
You hate time things, like you hate things that have to do with time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not even just like time, but it's just like how can they breathe under there?
What do you mean?
How can they breathe in the quantum realm?
Why wouldn't they be able to breathe in the quantum realm?
Because it's smaller than oxygen molecules.
But they shrunk. When they shrank, it's just like they're able to absorb whatever molecules are down there. Also, if you're going to start bringing up the whole, like, why can they breathe down there? Why can Scott shrink to begin with? You know? Like, how do the Pym particles make you shrink? How does it all work? The science behind it, we don't have to know.
No, I mean, we don't have to know. But, like, I don't know.
Because it doesn't exist. Like, that science doesn't exist.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know.
Like, the quantum realm isn't somewhere else. You're still within wherever you were. It's just smaller and smaller and smaller. I'm thinking of it. You know how I'm thinking of it?
Oh.
Like, what's that Dr. Seuss novel? The Lorax? Guys, you gotta chill. The Lorax?
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Luna, don't chase him. In that one where, like, it's a little cotton ball, but they're living in a whole town, and, like, he's holding it up. That's how I'm thinking of it. Like, the Whovilles in shrinking size, that's the quantum realm, in my opinion. It's just a cotton ball.
Yeah, I mean, like, the point, it's like it's supposed to be confusing. You know what I mean?
We're not supposed to understand it.
Yeah.
Like, that's science behind it. It's not given to us for a reason. It doesn't exist.
It feels like a very like, the whole quantum realm feels like a very abstract, like, concept. And that's why it's kind of hard, like, for someone that doesn't like time travel, like, multiverse stuff is always cool to me, but I never love it because everything can get very convoluted very easily. Does that make sense? Is that fair to say?
Well, that's actually the point of this phase.
I know,
in my opinion, that is the one singular similarity. It's the chaos. Like, they're creating chaos in every single movie that they've made. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not like I loved Thor: Love and Thunder. It's not like I loved Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Like, I didn't love those things, but I can appreciate that they're creating such a chaotic atmosphere that when Kang does eventually, like, actually try and conquer everything, it's gonna make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because everything's already messed up. Everyone's so confused. Everyone doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of easy.
Yeah. Well, back to the characters. I think that Kang and Janet 100% stole the show. Like, they're far and away my favorite parts of this.
I love Janet. Like,
Janet was awesome.
So pretty. Like, that is a gorgeous woman. Like, I want to look like that when I'm older, you know? Like, I just want to.
Right. Well, one thing that was funny, I forgot if I was listening to someone or, like, it was a tweet or something like that, but they were like, they really should have called it Ant-Man and Janet Quantumania, because honestly, the Wasp took such a back seat. I don't even know why they put her name.
But I'm honestly okay with it, because I don't love the Wasp. I don't know if that's a popular or unpopular opinion, but I really don't love the Wasp.
She's always kind of an odd character. Even their chemistry was a little bit weird, in my opinion, between the two of them.
It's always been weird, in my opinion. I think the first movie, it was there. And then in the second movie, I just, like, felt like such a loss of chemistry between them.
You can't really understand why they like each other. Like,
I honestly don't feel like they do like each other. Like, I honestly don't. Like, I don't know. I just don't love her character.
Yeah.
I hate saying it.
Yeah. It was funny because at the end where she ended up, saving Scott that last time, I was like, that honestly should have been Janet, for being real. Dude. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, Hope had the suit, but just based off context and, like, the Kang part of it, like, I definitely thought Janet would have showed up there.
I did
because I thought Janet would have been potentially okay with being stuck there again versus sending Hope in, you know what I mean, to basically get stuck.
I liked, actually, about that scene was it showed the whole probability thing. Like, well, it tried to explain the whole probability thing. Because remember we were talking about, right after we left the movie, you were like, I don't understand how, like, Kang could have already been exiled when the timeline only just got disrupted. Yep. And I was like, well, no, because time doesn't exist. Time is literally relative. When the timeline gets disrupted, that means, like, in infinite directions, it is a different timeline, But we were talking about that, and I feel like the whole probability thing is a really good example, because, like, every single probability of them, like, of what action you could have done is showing the timelines in, like, a certain, like, a small version of it, you know? But it was also really claustrophobic inducing.
I love those scenes.
Oh
That's
my
like
God.
very Doctor Strange.
I hated it.
Really?
Like
It's
internally,
creepy.
I hated it. I liked it visually, like just like as an explanation, and it made sense for like what they were doing in that moment. Visually, it was cool to see, but I got such bad claustrophobia.
Yeah.
Like especially when he started getting crushed by his other selves, and the nerdiness, the absolute nerdiness of it being like for Cassie, I'm a dad. Like it was such like a dad role,
Yeah.
you know. Like I mean, good for him. I'm proud that you're a dad,
Right.
but like, whoa, that was a little bit too corny for me.
Yeah. I'll get to Kang in a second because I really want to spend a good amount of time with him. But
Yeah.
I absolutely hated what they did with MODOK. Not only his
Wait, who's MODOK?
the big head, who was
Oh,
Yellow Jacket from the first Ant-Man.
I think I tried to block that out. I literally think I tried to black that out.
Like there were a bunch of memes before the movie about how there were a lot of scene for scene comparisons to Spy Kids 3.
No, not Spy Kids 3. Shark Boy and Lava Girl. It's Shark Boy.
I think it was both of them.
It's Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
I think you're right.
I know I'm right.
Yeah, so, and, like, oh, man, MODOK just looked ridiculous.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl was the start of my Taylor Lautner phase.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I know.
But, no, the way they did MODOK here makes sense because of, you know, him going to the quantum realm at the end of Ant-Man 1.
The next time this turns off, we can feed him, okay?
Okay. The CGI was just horrible. Like, the fact him being bald and making his entire bald head the entirety of
they
couldn't
have made it good CGI. It was a bad character. Like, it was bad character concept. I didn't like that.
Well, MODOK's always been a character, but like...
No, the character concept for, like, this reborn MODOK.
It was just the face, though. Like, the face is supposed to be, like... He's supposed to almost kind of look like Frankenstein monster-y. It's supposed to be, like... It's supposed to be, like, a gross, like...
It was disgusting.
Yeah.
But, like,
it just looked like a normal human face. That was the creepiest part.
Is it not supposed to look like that?
No. Like,
this is a real... No. You know what? I don't want to know. I'm going to keep... I don't need to know.
Yeah.
You know, it was just... I get it. Especially if that's canon. But, like... Ew. It was weird. He was, like, basically a baby arm, baby leg, baby butt. Because there was a baby butt.
Yeah, that...
I didn't want to see him dipped into this regenerative liquid.
I think that alone made me not be able to give it an 8. Not that I thought it would have been an 8 anyway, but seeing a MODOK butt like an hour in.
Yeah, no, MODOK...
that definitely takes a couple points off.
I get the whole, like, redemption arc that they kind of made him go through again.
That was stupid.
But, like, I could have done without his entire character being in it. Like, his character, if it wasn't in it, it would have gone the exact same way, basically.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I honestly just like I hated what they did with MODOK. I didn't like seeing it.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it again. Let's just like blur him out for my next
viewing.
That
ever happened. But yeah, I guess into Kang next. I thought Kang was dope. I don't love how it ended. He did not look that strong, and he is like that's the problem.
Well, no, because he didn't have his full power. Because we talked about this, because we both like started like discussing it. But Kang, I just wanted maybe more clarity on what the hell happened to him when he like, I don't know what like he like got sucked into something. Or... Yeah,
he's definitely still alive. I'm sure he's gonna pop up again
Kang
later.
in general is definitely gonna be alive. I don't know if Kang the Exiled is gonna come back. Honestly,
I think he's gonna come back.
No, they said he died. The other Kangs.
I know, but I don't know. I just can't imagine he's just actually dead.
No, but Kangs, that's why it was such a big deal. Because, like...
Right. We'll come back to this.
Alright. No, because the Kangs were like, how could they have killed him when... Like, because they couldn't kill him. That's why he's exiled. You know what I mean? So, like, there was a blip in the Force, obviously, for them to feel it. But, no, the reason that Kang was able to be defeated was only because since his particle generator thingy-mabobber, whatever it was called... the globe thing that gave him his power, that attached him to his ship. Because it seems like his ship was really what was, like, able to bring out his telepathy so that he could put on his suit. But then his suit got injured.
Yeah, his suit did get ruined.
Yeah, his suit got messed up, which is why he wasn't at full capacity of Kangness. And he's able to be defeated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But even then, it took a lot. Like, the ants, I want to know what happened to those ants. Did they die? Did the ones that carried him away... die? Because he how else would he have escaped? Those poor ants.
Yeah, the ant thing, like, I don't know. It was funny. I knew it was coming from
Oh
a mile
yeah,
away.
yeah. You know it was coming.
It's just,
I love that they like described that for them. It's been like literally eons. Like, did you catch
yeah,
that?
no,
Like
yeah.
they said that
They have a whole society.
they went through a whole society. They've like scientifically advanced beyond any of our comprehensions. You know, like
Yeah.
I loved that. Like I loved that that was like a thing included because it seems like they got stuck in the barrier realm.
I did like how Hank was kind of just a goob in this entire movie. Like, they
For
really
sure.
just made him seem like an old
Yeah.
geezer. You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean?
They're like, let's like lean into the fact that you are gonna be an old
And
guy.
you just love ants. Like, they made it weird. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they were very
He's like,
much...
I am Ant-Man.
Yeah, I love the ants. They're like, oh, so you like ants. But, yeah,
I
back to
loved
Kang,
it.
like... I don't know. I thought he was really cool, and I thought his acting was fantastic. Like, Jonathan Majors actually like killed it. I
Yeah.
thought he was the best actor in the whole movie. But I just didn't
No,
think
no,
they
I
did.
think Janet was.
I thought they were both good. I just didn't think that they did the character much justice, and I know it's because it's setting up more stuff. But I just can't see Kang beat my Ant-Man. I very strongly thought Ant-Man was going to die in this movie, and apparently there was an original ending where him and Hope actually get stuck in the quantum realm.
I thought that that's what was going to happen.
Yeah, that's
honestly,
what I was hoping
like,
for.
I thought that they would get stuck.
I think my major issue with this is I know this set up a lot, and it was like more of off-screen consequences.
Oh yeah,
But it didn't feel like I never felt like they were in danger. Honestly, like I hoped that someone was gonna die or that someone's gonna get stuck there, but I really never felt like they were in danger. And at the end of it, they just.
I felt like Cassie was in danger for like a good amount.
Yeah,
actually, like I was pretty convinced that somehow Cassie was going to get lost.
It was just weird because I feel like Kang really could have killed him at any time, and I just didn't understand why he didn't.
Because he didn't want to. Like,
Why?
He wanted them to join him.
No, he didn't. He wanted the ball, and when he had it, he had no reason to keep any of them alive.
Yeah.
Like, that was my... Because we were talking about this. He was trying to very much get out of the quantum realm, and that was his focus.
Yeah.
But when all that stuff was going down, all he had to do was fly down, zap.
Oh, no. Because we did talk about this. Because I still stand by my whole theory. Like, the only reason that he didn't react in time, and then the only reason he was defeated was ultimately actually pride.
Yeah.
If you really want to think about it.
Because he just wanted to get out.
Well, no, it was the pride of wanting to bring an army, like of wanting to make something out of your exile time, of
That's
being like,
fair.
I made something out of my exile time and I'm bringing it with me and we're going to conquer the world with it.
Yeah.
And because of that pride, he couldn't look past it and be like, actually, I can just get out right now. And he didn't get out. And ultimately, like, it's what defeated him.
Right.
Which I think actually kind of lines up with a lot of what Kang has to do with, like, as a person. Like, that typically is his Achilles heel, I guess, is his pride. And his just...
And, like, blinded by revenge, too.
Oh, yeah, just blinded by his own ego, really. Because, like, even this one, like, he was like, oh, I just started going to different timelines because I know which one should be the right one. Mm-hmm. Which is technically actually what the one remaining, what's his last... He Who Remains kind of did. He Who Remains really just decided which timeline should be the last one, you know? Yeah.
Well, that's also what I don't understand. Like, He Who Remains... versus the one who's exiled.
Right.
Versus all of the other ones.
Oh, no, I'm kind of curious to know if, like, the exiled one and He Who Remains, if, like, that's his past self, you know?
Yeah.
I'd be curious to find that out.
Yeah, because that was actually really, really confusing to me, because it would seem in some way, because that's essentially what the exiled one was saying. He's like, there shouldn't be all this variation. You know what I mean? There should be only, like, one way.
Yeah.
And he's like, I see how everything ends. So that's why with the one timeline and how, like, the TVA was set up, like, that's kind of what it feels like. Like, he was the one who remains, but again, like, that wasn't really explained anywhere. And I'm sure maybe they'll get into it with Loki too.
And we also obviously see, like...
Season 2. But.
Well, yeah, we also obviously see, like, He Who Remains as being a very benevolent version of Kang. Like, because he talks so much about his other selves and how cruel and awful they were. But then we see this other version of the other Kangs, and they have, like, this council of Kangs that all seem to actually not be as cruel as he made them out to be. Like, some of them were. You know, some of them walked in there and they were already yelling and screaming in their little war gear and everything like that. But you have to wonder if He Who Remains really was just the exiled one. If the exiled one is just the past version. Like, that didn't get to, like, play out his whole role.
And that was a big question I had, too. Like, once we got the reveal of, like, the Council of Kangs at the end, it was like, we know the one who was exiled, who was in the quantum realm, was definitely evil. You know what I mean?
No, he for sure was.
When you look at the evil scale, like, the rest of the Kangs seem pretty evil, too. And that's why it's kind of interesting to see, like, who's doing the exiling because of the motive. You know what I mean? Like, what was
Well, I
each
think the
side's
motive was really just the fact that I think that the exiled one wanted to destroy other timelines. Like, he was destroying other timelines.
Yeah.
And, like, obviously that means that there were Kangs in those timelines that are getting destroyed.
Yeah.
So they probably had to exile him.
Yeah.
But I'm actually kind of curious now to know if, like, that would be a good theory. Like, if that is, like, he only died because He Who Remains also died.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe. But yeah, I mean, like one of the last Avengers movies of this phase is called the Kang Dynasty, so it's like they're going to win at some point.
Ooh,
and
that's interesting.
Well, I mean, because that's essentially what happened in Infinity War. Thanos won. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
and
true.
So I think they're going to do something very similar down the line with the Kangs winning. I'm just kind of curious how we come back from it. But I'm excited to see the different variations of Kang. Like he's very scary, honestly. Like in how big of a villain he is. And
no, he's terrifying. He's like all power. Even from like the little bit that we got, which we knew he wasn't at full power, like not even by half. He was terrifying.
Yeah,
he's fine. He can't be near the mic because it starts to make a funny noise.
But yeah, no, I mean, I really liked him. I thought he was great.
I loved him as an actor. He did a great job. I think that he's doing a really good job already of showing the different kinds of Kangs and like the variants that there are going to be. And I'm really curious to see like what happens in Loki too. I loved getting to see Loki at the very end.
Yeah.
Like I've been waiting so patiently as a Loki obsessed lover as I am.
Right.
And finally getting to see him again, I'm like, there you are, baby.
Yeah.
And he's with the detective, and they're detectiving.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of said about this whole phase, like, there's just a lot going on.
Yeah, but we knew that going in. Like, you were nervous about that going in.
Yeah. I think it's kind of weird, but I think we really do need either Fantastic Four or the X-Men to pop up, like, ASAP. Because it just doesn't feel like there's any leader right now.
Well, because I told you that I thought it would be an interesting theory if in the next Deadpool movie, which, like, they've already said Wolverine's going to be in, if that's how they're going to drag X-Men into the timeline, because Deadpool can actually just jump between the different dimensions.
Right.
Because, like, he's self-aware, fourth wall breaking and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, he could just be like, I'm done with this one. Let's go to a reality where my girl isn't dead.
Yeah.
And he drags Wolverine with him, and then we have the X-Men. I think that would be great.
Yeah, that movie is going to be incredible. But it's just weird because, like, I feel like this whole phase just doesn't really have, like, a leader. And like
it doesn't.
Again, that was like the saddest thing about not having T'Challa, because I feel like he would have been.
He was gonna be.
Yeah, but like we really need like a Reed Richards or someone still steering the ship at this point.
I
know what I mean?
Don't want it to be Reed Richards.
I hate the Fantastic Four.
I hate the Fantastic Four.
I don't like them, but for the sake of someone saying what we're doing, like saying what the team's doing, like having some direction.
We don't have a leader.
Yeah, there's no leader right now, and I don't know.
It's not going to be Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange himself was like, I don't want to do this. Like, it's not going to be him. It's not going to be Wanda.
Yeah.
It's not going to be... Actually, it would be so funny if it was Loki, but, like, it's not going to be Loki.
Yeah.
Like, Loki's not that kind of person. It's not going to be Thor.
Yeah. No, it's going to...
It's been very clear that they've been saying all of these characters are, like, not down to be the leader. They're all very much like, I'm good, chilling in the back.
Yeah, it is kind of funny though. Like one of my theories is that like we will get the Fantastic Four eventually, and I think by the end of this they will be a huge part.
Yeah.
But I think for whatever reason, this phase is gonna, like, for some reason rely heavily on the Young Avengers.
Oh, I think
that's
so
what
too.
I'm thinking. I feel what I'm thinking.
Well, they've set it up so clearly as well. Like Haley Steinfeld's character, and like obviously Cassie Lang now, and obviously we have like why am I blanking on her name? Black Widow.
Yeah.
Her heir.
Yelena.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like they've set it up very clearly that like there's gonna be the Young Avengers. Like they're gonna come soon. But also we don't know what's gonna happen with like Secret Wars and all that stuff.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like there's two very different like battles going on right now that it's like kind of hard to see where it all gets put together in the middle. But I mean, I'm excited.
Well, I don't think we're ever supposed to know what's happening in the middle anyways.
Yeah.
And I think because try and play with the cable right behind you. You might want to pick it up over on that end, too. Just bring it to the front for right now. It'll be ugly for a minute if you're watching this, but that's fine. It's either that or the cat takes it. But yeah, I'm honestly kind of... well, okay, wait, Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel would want to step into the role of leader.
No, I know. And like same thing with Sam. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know if I don't see him as leader yet, but I think that we'd need a movie to see him like step into that role.
I think the new Captain America is going to be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's why honestly, I'm kind of ready to get back to those kind of heroes.
Yeah. Yeah, like the classic ones.
Yeah, like the ones that actually like fight like the street level heroes. You know what I mean?
The ones that like fight the good fight. You know, like
Yeah.
the ones that like I don't know. You can see good and evil clearly. You know, like with all of these ones, I think that it's been kind of a vague definition of good and evil because you can kind of see both sides. You know, I don't know. I like. But going back to like what Ant-Man was about, I did like it. Like,
yeah,
I liked the
enjoyed
humor. It wasn't as humorous as normal, but I did like the humor. I think that Scott and Cassie had a really good chemistry as far as like father-daughter relationship. Like they really acted like father-daughter, in my opinion. I loved seeing Janet be a badass.
Yeah.
Because, like, that was so cool. That was the story that we all kind of wanted, but we didn't know that we wanted.
Yeah.
Like, what was she doing? Just traveling in the quantum realm.
Yeah.
You know? like, that's so much fun. And, kind of on a theory basis, because we did mention that, like, in the trailers, it looked like those might have been, like, Shang-Chi's 10 rings.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I counted it. I don't think it's 10.
I mean, I don't know if it's that specifically, but they definitely...
That was horrifying.
They definitely look identical. So
no, they do.
Yeah, and like that's another part too. Like I'm curious. Like,
and the infinite life thing, like
is Shang-Chi's rings gonna get tied into this? Is what's her name, Miss Marvel's bands gonna get tied into this? Like that's what I mean.
Yeah,
there's
they're
so
all like
many
cosmic. They're all cosmic power things.
Well, you remember at the end of Shang-Chi, something was sending a signal.
Yeah,
we think that was what's her name? No, that was Cassie's thing.
Yeah, sending the signal down to King.
Yeah, so that's what was interesting too.
That whole scene was really fun to watch. I love seeing Janet like absolutely panic about this.
Yeah.
And just like no one else knowing what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
And then just getting sucked in. I think that this had a really good intro. Like for a movie.
I agree.
Yeah, I think
it
was long.
I wasn't really bored at any points. It was long.
Oh, I got bored.
I did love how they went right into the quantum realm. They really didn't waste much time. They gave you a short little intro.
Yeah.
And then they went, what was it, 20 minutes?
But
maybe?
I also liked like the completion of it being like the same kind of outro. Like, same intro, same outro.
No, this was literally like Scott telling the story. Like that's why it's funny. Like you just get the little trip through his
Well, and it's even funny to see like the whole Spider-Man thing with Scott Lang, because obviously we know now Spider-Man, they don't know who he is. They don't know who like Peter Parker is. So it's kind of interesting that was brought up at all. I don't think it's supposed to be an Easter egg, but at the same time I'm like, I'd take everything as an Easter egg at this point.
What
you know?
You mean?
Well, just the fact that like, why would they? I mean,
Spider-Man still did everything. They just don't know he's Peter Parker.
Well, I know, but it was Scott Lang outside of the suit that they were like, Peter Parker, or not Peter Parker, sorry, Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, no, I think it was just them thinking, like knowing he's a bug hero.
Yeah, that's true. But like, because I know from that standpoint too. But at the same point, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
With everything else that happened, I'm just like, I just accept everything as knowledge. Sense. I am really curious to see how like Spider-Man's story is going to play into all of this.
I mean, it's just I need Spider-Man to really stick with Daredevil. No, I don't want any supernatural people around him. I want him to just be fighting crime. You know what I mean? It won't
be at this point. Like at this point, like the way that Spider-Man ended, it very much left it at that. Like they were like, he's gonna be like OG Spider-Man again. Yeah. You know, like versus like everything that he had been. But I don't know. I think Guardians is gonna be really interesting because I'm curious to see if it'll give you any more answers that you wanted. I'm gonna go with the flow girl. I will watch any movie and be like, this is gonna somehow play into the timeline. I know that. You know, like, I don't need the explanation. I know you do. So hopefully Guardians does something.
I am really excited for Guardians because of some of the characters that are finally being introduced. Like the High Evolutionary. I think he's gonna be the villain, but he's the one that created Rocket.
He's definitely the villain. Yeah. Like that.
Yeah. And then Adam Warlock, who originally I thought was gonna be in Infinity War. They teased him forever ago.
Yeah.
And he's usually the one that beats Thanos.
In Guardians too.
No, he's the one that beats Thanos, you know, in the original Infinity Saga.
I remember you talking about
So with him coming in now, really curious to see what role he plays. But I'm excited. Like the Guardians are always so entertaining.
They're so much fun.
Like,
I'm so excited to have a new volume cassette.
It's gonna be like interesting to see who doesn't make it though.
Oh yeah, because there's someone that's gonna die.
I'd say at least two of them are gonna die.
I'm like kind of hoping it's Peter, mostly because I think
Drax is definitely done. Because he, Dave Bautista just kind of hates the character at this point.
That's fair.
So I kind of feel him on that, but I really Yeah, I just want Rocket and Groot. That's all we need to keep it alive. I would be very down for Peter to die, but
No,
I'm
I
pretty
need
sure
Rocket.
Peter's
You're
going to
right.
be
Rocket
around.
and Groot.
Yeah.
They need to stay. Gamora. New Gamora.
Yeah, new Gamora's got to stay.
Oh, yeah. New
But,
Gamora. Oh, that alone would be like a break in the timeline, huh? Or was that supposed to happen? It's hard to know.
right.
It's hard to know.
So,
But-
but yeah, I'm excited. I think it's been a nice little break from Marvel. I do think they kind of need to take their time with these movies coming out. Like, I don't mind having a
bigger
big gap between them. You know, if they're
Well, I think that
little
it was
better
so
quality.
oversaturated for like the last year,
Yeah.
like with all the TV shows, with all like the things that they had, and fingers in so many pies or whatever
Yeah.
that saying is, and like they were that is the saying, I'm
Oh,
pretty
okay.
sure, but they were they were dropping the ball in like simple things, you know, like so many people I think want to see Marvel fail right now.
Mhm.
Like that's just what people constantly keep talking about is, oh, this movie sucked, this movie sucked, this movie sucked. They hate it because they're expecting like so much out of it.
Yeah.
And granted, I don't think they're putting as much effort as like they had been in the first parts, but it's still good.
Oh yeah,
You
no,
know,
I mean,
like this
these
is
are
still
always so
really
entertaining.
good.
I love Marvel with all my heart, but yeah, I wish they would take a little bit more time. I wish they would put more time into the CGI, and I really don't like what I keep hearing about the poor, like not necessarily conditions, but like the way the virtual effects people are really being overworked.
CGI takes so much time. It takes so much work. It's why like the budgets
Yeah.
are so huge because
But
CGI.
it pisses me off because it doesn't look better. Like the movies used to
Well,
look
no,
way
'cause
better.
that's what that's what the poor condition things are about. I'm pretty sure because they're saying that like they're giving such small time
Mhm.
frames for the CGI producers to work,
Yeah.
and they're forcing them to do it in that time, which is why the CGI isn't turning out as good.
Mhm.
And it's still like it's a heavy duty like
Yeah.
product that they're having to work with,
Yeah.
and it's stressful as hell. Like
Yeah.
with all the TV shows and everything. Hopefully, with like the cutting of so many TV shows, like not having to do as many right now, like they're getting the proper amount of time that they need to work on CGI.
Yeah. Well, the problem too is I guess apparently like these stories aren't like set in stone before they get started, so
the
they keep
scripts are
having
being
to
made like
on the fly,
yeah.
and that's really annoying because they're essentially redoing entire scenes. Like I guess the ending. Remember, I told you how they were previously going to get trapped in there. They apparently changed that last minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they got to redo all those scenes and the
Yeah.
virtual effects and everything. So I don't like that aspect. They really need to just slow down, lay out their entire story,
Yeah,
stick
because
with
people
it.
are gonna watch. People like they
Yeah.
don't. Granted, we love getting a lot of content, but at the end of the day,
I'd rather
Marvel
be
fans
quality.
want good content.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
we can't have two failing superhero
Yeah,
franchises.
especially with how much of a mess DC's been. Like Marvel's always kind of been, you know, the steady ship, and then like there's been times I think within this last phase I've been like, I don't really like where
Well,
this is
and
going.
I think a lot of people have been like that. But I also, like I said, I feel like a lot of people also want to see it fail at this
Yeah,
point.
agreed.
Like it's not just the fact that, granted, they're dropping the ball somewhat.
Yeah,
They're not dropping it to the point that people are talking about it.
yeah. And I did want to point out too, like there's a, you know, you kind of got to weigh it out because one thing I did love about this phase was that they tried out new things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of these shows
A
are
lot of
very,
new
very
directors.
different style.
Yeah.
A lot of different directors. So it's like, I like the attempt. You know what I mean? And I do think they should be trying new things. Not everything's going to be
Yeah.
perfect. But again, like especially with how these are made, like I really wish they would just take their time.
Well,
and like,
and I think that no one would really mind if they were dabbling a lot if we could tell that they were taking their time with it. Like if they
Yeah.
were like putting effort into it versus just being like, let's just try a lot of things and let's just do it.
yeah, like they were just pumping everything out way too fast.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, we kind of got burnt out, honestly, like for a little while.
There was a minute, there was like right after Moon Knight,
Hmm.
everything goes black for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I totally agree.
But yeah, She-Hulk, oof. You know, not my favorite, but
Yeah.
it's still something that like I love, and I hope that like they bring back the passion for it.
Yeah.
Because I think that was what was being lost, was
Yeah.
just like the actual original storytelling aspect. And it's
Right.
hard too because they're doing such a freaking huge project.
Yeah.
Like Kang is ginormous.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you told me that like when they first announced that it might have been something like this.
Mhm.
Like you were like, I don't know how they're gonna do such a huge project.
Yeah. No, and I told her like,
and they're doing that and Secret Wars, and Secret Wars alone, you said was already like ginormous.
well, Secret Wars is essentially like the multiverse war. That's
Yeah.
essentially what it is. So
Wait, then what am I saying? I meant
Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know I have no idea where that's going to tie in.
No. So like that's why like they're doing a lot.
Very big storylines,
Yeah.
very, very quick. Like when you think about how long it took them to even just introduce Thanos,
Yeah.
like show him actually do anything,
Yeah.
like it took forever. And you know,
I want to
Yeah,
let you know
no,
the
no.
battery icon's flashing, so if we can wrap this up, that
Cool.
would be better.
I'm good.
I'm
That's
good
all I had
too.
to say. Go see Ant-Man if you have. Well, I hope you have if you made it this far.
Well,
but...
yeah, and let us know like how you guys feel about like Marvel taking on such a big project, and if you think that they're going to successfully do it. If you disagree with us and you think that they've been dropping the ball way more than we have, than we think they have anyways. Because like I said, it could be because I'm a huge fan of Marvel at the end of the day, but like I don't think that it's as bad as people like to say it is.
No, agreed.
Yeah, so let us know what you guys think, especially if you've seen Ant-Man. If you haven't seen it yet and you watch this all, I hope you feel prepared now going in. Apollo, it's his birthday today, so everyone wish Apollo happy first birthday. He's a Pisces. He's a February Pisces. And his chaos is apparent. But yeah, that's it. Yeah. Thanks for watching, and
we did want to let you know we did end up going to Disneyland immediately after Wakanda Forever, and we got the Black Panther helmet and these fun little things behind us. Would definitely recommend.
Super cool. Actually, we have so much fun stuff now to put into our background that I'm really excited to like redo this area. We just haven't gotten to it yet, so I'm sorry it's still playing.
It's on the list.
Yeah, it's on the list. There's a lot of things on our list. Just like Marvel, you know? Yeah. We're dropping the ball in somewhere.
But yeah, we always think this is fun. You know, we love talking about movies, the shows, so that's all for now.
Please stand by.
Please stand by.
You know what's going to be fun to talk about?
What?
Flashpoint Paradox.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that.
That might be one of like the most spicy podcasts that we'll ever do.